Hey lovelies! 'Tis the season for a whole lot of entertaining, at least at my house, which is why I am always on the hunt for easy appetizer recipes to share with you guys. Today I've got 3 delicious ideas that all happen to be shaped like Christmas trees. What could be more festive than that? So a few years ago, I made this incredible puff pastry Nutella tree on the channel, and everyone seemed to love it. So today I'm going to make a savory version of that. This is a spinach and artichoke tree, and instead of puff pastry here, I'm actually using some store-bought pizza dough. I've cut it in half and rolled it out on 2 pieces of parchment paper. It's really important to work on the parchment paper because this is going to make it much easier to transfer it onto your baking sheet when you're ready to cook it. And it's time to get it topped with some amazing spinach and artichoke dip. I am just going to get a nice layer all over my pizza dough. Now we're going to be cutting this out into a Christmas tree shape, so we don't have to get all the way to the edges, but I wanna make sure that we get good coverage because of course, this is going to load in lots of flavor. Next, I'm going to top this with a good sprinkle of finely shredded mozzarella cheese. And for even more great flavor, I've also got a little bit of freshly grated Parmesan cheese headed on here as well. At this point, we're ready to top this with our second piece of pizza dough. We're just going to press down on our top sheet of pizza dough gently to help it adhere. Then we can peel back the parchment paper and get to work on building our Christmas tree. Now to do this, I am using a pizza cutter. I find it to be a really efficient way. If you don't have a pizza cutter, go ahead and use a nice sharp knife for this. That will totally work. What we're looking to do to start is to create a bit of a triangle or a point out of our pizza dough. That's going to be the top of our Christmas tree. Then at the bottom of my Christmas tree, I'm going to use my pizza cutter once again to create a little trunk. Now I definitely do not recommend throwing away the scraps here. They are totally edible and still totally delicious. Pop them on a second baking sheet and you can bake them with your tree and then enjoy them yourself before the party starts. That's the best part about being the cook actually. You always get first taste. Now, to create the branches of this Christmas tree, I am once again going to be using my pizza cutter to sort of cut some slits every inch or so up my Christmas tree. Next, once I've got all of my slits cut in, I am going to basically pull and twist each of my branches to create this really beautiful effect. Basically, that's just going to expose a little bit of the filling, giving you a nice green Christmas tree look. What is not to like? Once you've got your tree prepared, you can transfer it on the parchment paper to a baking sheet and then get it into the oven at 450 degrees Fahrenheit for say between 10 and 12 minutes. You wanna keep a really close eye on it to prevent it from burning. As soon as it's nice and golden, it can come out of the oven, and I like to finish it off by brushing it with a little bit of melted butter mixed with some garlic powder and some fresh parsley. Not only does it add even more great flavor, but it also gives your pizza dough a nice bit of shine. Trust me guys, when I say this is a crowd pleaser, I mean it. This yumminess did not last more than 10 minutes with our crew. Next, for another fun and festive Christmas tree inspired appetizer, I am making this yummy pull-apart bread. Now I can't take credit for this. I actually saw this recipe on Delish and was like, I need to give that a try for myself. So here we are. I'm getting started once again with some store-bought pizza dough. I'm going to cut it in half, roll it under my hands, and then cut it into little pieces. You're looking for pieces of dough that are about 1 inch across. Basically, what we're going to do is flatten each of our pieces of dough in our hands, and then we're going to add a little bit of mozzarella to the center of each. Then I will just roll the mozzarella up and place it on my parchment-lined baking sheet. Once you've got your whole Christmas tree prepared on your baking sheet, you can go ahead and top it with a little star-shaped pizza dough. I'm going to get this deliciousness in the oven at 450 degrees again for between 10 and 12 minutes or until everything's nice and golden and cooked through. While that's baking away, I'm going to be mixing up another great butter topping for this appetizer. Starting with some melted butter, I'm going to add a little freshly grated Parmesan cheese to that, as well as some freshly chopped basil and parsley. That's going to give us some nice green for our Christmas tree. I'm also going to add a little bit of garlic powder to that for even more great flavor. We'll just use a pastry brush to brush that deliciousness all over our tree, and it is ready to be enjoyed. I love serving it up with some marinara sauce or some dipping. Trust me, your guests will not complain about this. And finally, guys, for something equally festive, but a little less traditional. We are going to be making an olive tree, and it's actually really, really easy to do. It has such a pretty effect. It actually reminds me a bit of like a 60s appetizer. It is definitely an adorable idea, and it all starts with a styrofoam cone from the craft store. You can find this at most craft stores or even a big box store. All I'm going to do is wrap it in aluminum foil, and then to affix our olives, I'm just going to be using some toothpicks. So I'm going to stick in a toothpick wherever I want to add an olive, and then I will pop the olive on top. Now for the best effect, I definitely recommend using a variety of olives in different shapes and sizes. I just hit my local olive cart at my supermarket and got as many as I can find. I think you get really cool texture and flavor this way as well. And as I get closer to the top where there's less space for my toothpicks, I'm actually going to be cutting them in half. And that way I'll have lots of room for them. Once you've got all of those olives on your cone, you're gonna go ahead and add even more festive flavor with some sprigs of rosemary. Now I love this because it's really reminiscent of the branches of an evergreen tree. What could be more festive? And then for our tree topper, I am actually going to be making a puff pastry star. In fact, because I'm making one puff pastry star, I'm going to make a few dozen and use them to doll up the base of my tree. Now to do this, I'm using just some store-bought puff pastry dough, and I've got some star cookie cutters. I'm going to cut out my stars, brush them with a little bit of egg wash, which is just some beaten egg, and then I'm going to sprinkle on a little garlic powder and some salt so that they're extra flavorful. I'll get them in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. They cook up really quickly, between just 4 and 6 minutes, because they're so small. You want to keep a close eye on them because you definitely do not want them to burn. And once they're out of the oven, you can affix one to the top of your tree and then serve the rest with your yummy olives. Guys, I think that this is a really fun and festive addition to a charcuterie board or a cheese board. I hope you'll give all 3 of these yummy ideas a try. If you do, be sure to tweet me, Instagram me, or Facebook me a photo, because I love seeing your kitchen creations. All the recipes for today's video are linked in the description box below. And finally, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe because there is lots more deliciousness where this came from.